What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Let's Chop It Up with Ron C. My guest today is none other than Q from Welcome to EliteCafe. How you doing today, Q?
I'm doing really well.
How
are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being my guest today.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. So before we even get started, this is going to be for all the content creators. We're going to do the shameless plug off the rip. This is a feature item. This portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Look Qua Red Into Apparel, located inside of Urban Styles Barber Studio, located at 3107 Harrison Avenue, by appointment only. Call 513-421-1432. And the feature item today is this Bengals Look Who They Ran Into hoodie. These are the feature item because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, y'all. It's October what's the first?
It's the first.
It's the first. So this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I want y'all to see this is a feature item. So if you need this item right here, place your orders from extra small all the way up to a 4X, I believe. Hit me up and place your orders, y'all. Place your orders.
And all of this is made in-house. He has a printing press here, y'all. I just watched him stamp the logo on this hoodie, y'all. Gear.
So make sure to place your orders, and I also make deliveries. So I'm so excited for this podcast, though, for real, because everybody want to know how to make some money on social media, you know. And that's the thing now, how to make some money. Everybody's trying to be a content creator. Everybody's out filming stuff. Everybody's out doing everything with their phone. And how can you make some money with that daggone phone? You know, so first of all, Q, let's talk about you first and where you from. First of all, what does Q stand for?
Q stands for Shaquina. My real name, the name that my biological mother gave me, is Shaquina. But it has letters in there that don't belong, and it makes it complicated for people to say it. People mispronounce it all the time. So a friend of mine that was very influential in my life in my 20s, my early 20s, he just abbreviated it to Q. And I liked it, ran with it. It became very easy to brand professionally. So now I go professionally by Q.
That's what's up, Q. So say it one more time for us, because there's a Q in there.
It's a Q in there.
There's a Q in there.
Yes, there's a Q in the middle somewhere. Like, so instead of saying shit to Queena and watching my name, just call me Q.
Q for the Queen, for sure. And what does Welcome to EliteCafe mean?
So that is my Facebook handle. All of my social media handles are tied to my business name, EliteCafe. I keep everything consistent across all platforms, so it's easy to be able to follow and keep up with what I'm doing without any confusion. And Welcome to EliteCafe on my Facebook handle means welcome to the EliteCafe experience that we deliver consistently within the salon, with every wig that I make, package, and ship, and any other experience that I deliver. Newly, I've been delivering my cooking services that I do every 2 weeks, which is also an elite experience. And the reason why I named my salon EliteCafe is because obviously I like to keep things at an elite level at an affordable price, but it's cozy like a cafe, so I just put those two terms together and got my business name.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So before we get into the monetization of and the content creating, let's talk about a little bit about your background. So where are you from exactly? Are you a native of Cincinnati?
I am a native of Cincinnati. I grew up in South Avondale primarily, although I spent a great deal of time in different foster households in different communities.
Okay,
I did spend most of my childhood in Avondale. So I grew up in Avondale, A1.
A1 from day one. Okay, that's what's up.
You gotta know it.
I know that's right. Okay, so what made you get into the hair industry, first of all?
This is complicated. So I'm the oldest of 11 siblings. My biological mom had 6 daughters before she had her first son. And since I'm the oldest and things were just very troubling, I became very domesticated. I became responsible for all of our care 100%. I began paying bills early. I began cleaning up the house. I learned how to cook very young. At 7 years old, I was able to make full course meals. And I had to start adding structure and responsibility to doing all of that and getting us to school on time and stuff like that, so that the household stuff can be done. We can still complete our school activities and stuff like that. So I was responsible for our hair, which I did every Sunday. And the older my sisters got, the more creative they wanted to be.
Right.
They allowed me to be creative, and I was in charge of all of our care, so I really didn't have any backlash from my mom about what I created with our hair. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
where the imaginative spark came in.
So you've been doing hair pretty much your whole life.
my whole life.
Your whole life.
My
That's what you
whole
know.
my whole entire life.
You know what? A friend of mine told me, and this, shout out to Lamont Rose. Lamont Rose told me a long time ago. He said, "Man, you're gonna make your money with your God-given talents." Now, I've been cutting hair since I was 10 years old. I had a Jerry curl. I wanted to meet my daddy. He came out from penitentiary one time. Blah blah blah. He had a bald head. And I cut that Jerry curl straight up. I've been cutting hair ever since 1983 when I met Mr. Roy Lee.
Oh my God, I wasn't even born in 1983.
exactly.
Talk about
You know
it.
what I'm talking about? So, it's amazing that you say that something that you didn't even know that you was going to be feeding your family off of.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? You was taking care of the family with it, but you wound up feeding the family off of it.
I began feeding the family very early on. We lived in an apartment building on Chalfonte off of Ram Road that was loaded with single moms with kids, and they wanted nightlife experiences. So since I already had a house full of children with my siblings, I offered to watch their kids and wrapped it up into a combo if they let me do their hair. So for $75 every pay period, I would keep all their kids and throw in a free hairdo for the mom. And they started to promote. They was outside. They was at places like Fast Freddy's and Queen Anne.
Come on, did you say
promoting my hairstyles?
You say my spots now. You talk about my generation. So you're just a natural hustler for real. So you turn your passion, your hobby, your passion or whatever into profit.
The
now.
passion came later. It was loaded with a lot of trauma at first. I had to go to therapy. In hair school, I realized that there were some styles that I was completely unwilling to do because it just was a trauma trigger immediately, and I became really aggressive. I was mean. And
could you talk about the style? Like, would it be
yeah,
like the finger wave or something?
No, anything related to children.
Okay.
I would not do it.
Wow.
I did not want anything to remind me of what I had to overcome to get to where I got to, and I felt like, hair school was pitched as you are in control. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but whatever you choose to do, you need to be damn good at it.
Right, for
so
sure.
people would come in with those children, and I would be like, no. She can do it.
Yeah.
I was sending them everywhere except in my chair. So for the first 6 years of my career, I would not braid. I would not do any ponytails. I would not do anything that reminded me of a children's hairstyle because it was a part of my trauma. And I had to go to therapy.
I mean, people don't understand.
How to get over that.
So you
The passion came later.
Okay, after you got over that.
The passion came later. At first, it was something that I knew how to do, and then I learned how to monetize it because I had bills to pay.
Right.
You can't keep living through disconnection notices, your water cut off, you filling up every container in the apartment that can hold water, so you can have enough water until you can get enough money to get the services reconnected.
Right, yeah, for sure.
I mean, just understanding that the best time to go without gas and electric is in the summer because at least you won't freeze to death.
Come on now.
Come on. So,
for real. Yeah.
I learned how to monetize it out of a need, but the passion came much later.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say something about to parents, all the parents of kids that get hair services, barbering services. You don't really. I mean, I'm sure you do because you know how bad your kids is, and sometimes they don't even be ready for the type of service that you want performed on them kids.
Facts,
you know what I'm saying? And so. We should charge more, but you want us to charge less.
And I understand why they do. I mean, we understand why they do.
Their head ain't that much smaller. Some of them got to grow into them heads. You know what I'm saying? So, but
typically their head is smaller, like about 19, 20 inches of circumference, but they require so much more time, much more product that you're actually performing as equivalently to an adult or more than what you would perform on an adult.
because you're doing a lot of pampering services and sometimes some child care services as well as performing the hair care service. So keep that in mind, all you parents who are getting hair care services for your children. Wow, so you started doing all this stuff out of
a need. We had to pay. I had to pay our bills.
So where did the passion come in at?
The passion came when I realized that I transitioned from good to great. And this was during because I got my hair license at 19.
Okay.
I was a teen mom. I was 15 and pregnant, so I graduated high school with my son across my hip, and then I entered hair school after I flunked out of nursing school. So I was still really, really young, and this was the part of my confidence building phase. Okay. So when I realized that I was no longer good, that I was actually great at what I was doing, that was the first foundational step in me developing and building my confidence. I really enjoyed the way it felt. I enjoyed the way people rewarded me because of something that I built with my hands.
Right.
And then I also liked the way it felt when people who didn't think I was capable of it learned that I was capable of it. Like it was like a stick it to them, like you know what I'm saying? So,
And this is something, because you instill confidence with every hairstyle. You I sit with the haircuts that I produce. You just see the confidence come over a person as the hairstyle comes to life.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a certain confidence, and then we become, we are counselors. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
I done had some people I done counseled through all type of relationships.
Yes.
Before they had kids, now they got great grandkids. Like
We come to know a lot of things about people,
yeah.
and delivering their hair service, we're delivering ministry. We're helping them make better decisions and become more impactful with their communities and their children and within the workplace. Wherever they are, we help them become better within that space.
Exactly.
Just by giving them a hairstyle, because we learn so much about them.
And speaking about our customers, and our clientele, I always tell other barbers that you have a pool of people to pull from. Just because you have one service that you're offering them doesn't mean that you can't offer them more services.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how you transition from being a hairdresser to making wigs. Let's talk about that.
That came because I always represented the industry by looking like I belong in the industry.
Yeah.
It's very rare that I appear somewhere not looking like I'm a representation of the beauty industry.
Come on now,
So
talking.
with that being said, I will have a whole clientele that I perform services on throughout the day, and at the end of that day, I would need to do my own hair. That led to me leaving the salon at 6 a.m. and it started to scare the owners of those salons because I'm leaving late. The communities may have not been the best, and they started to feel like they may have needed to put more safety measures, and then that taps into resources, and it taps into how does that make sense for them, because at the day they're still business owners too. Any money that they spend has to make sense. They have to get a return on that investment. So the challenge was put to me to figure out how to get my hair done and not have them in that position. So I made my first makeshift wig. I didn't even know it was a wig. I took some old pieces from 3 different wigs that were not usable, and I just cut them and measured them and pieced them together and put it on my head. And so many people were like, I love your sewing, I love your sewing. And I was like, oh, thank you very much, but it's a wig. And people weren't ready for that terminology at that time, so I was losing interest. And since I'm like always in the moment, it clicked really fast. It was like, I have to show them. I'm losing their attention when I say the word wig. They're not inquiring about the services beyond that. So I made a video in which I was just playing in the hair, and then I just snatched it off my head on camera. That was my first viral video.
So what year was this? Let's talk about this.
This probably was 2013, maybe 2014.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I was thinking maybe it would have been like around COVID. But so let's talk about so this is pre-COVID.
Yeah, this was pre-COVID, where I was stitching, making handmade wigs. There was no machine involved yet. I didn't even have sizes. I don't even know how the people was letting me get away with this. I was making one size fits all wigs, like making them on the same size canvas, hoping it worked out. Right. So obviously I had to perfect it and test it, and I don't sell anything to anybody that I haven't worn. I have to know how it holds up, and I happen to have a really active lifestyle, so I can put it through the test. I can go work out, sit in the sauna, go swimming, do all sorts of things to see how it responds, and either refine that or decide that this product doesn't meet my standards and I won't sell it. So
you just told me, so you can go swimming in the wig and all that?
I mean, yeah, you can, because obviously if it's curls like this, these won't stay. Right. But it'll turn into a nice wave.
But the point is, you can put the wig up, go swimming, and then put the wig back on.
Absolutely.
And still
because now I've transitioned into glueless wigs. I've been in a glueless space for a very long time now. That is my niche that I only focus on now. So yes, you definitely take it off, lay it down, put your swim turban on, which is what I do. I'm a swimmer. I just learned how to swim like 3 years ago, so I'm an active swimmer. So I'm glad you said that. So yes, if you want to sit pretty on vacation, it could get wet and you still gonna be fly. But if you want to do laps like me, you could take it off and let it sit pretty while you go get that workout in. And you put it back on, and you look like you just never even put that work in. So
where you keep your diva style at. Okay, make sure y'all chime in if you have any questions. We're going interactive, so if any questions, please tap in, and she will answer any question that you guys have. So make sure you tap in, y'all. If you have any questions, we will answer any questions you have. So your first video, 2013, it went viral. So how many likes did you get? How many views did you get?
Oh, wow. It had to be 500,000 views.
Ooh.
About 517,000 views. It
And you
took
think
about
I'm
2
sorry.
years for that video to be under copyright protection because I had used "Push It to the Limit" by Rick Ross before they started putting copyright infringement on music that we use. So that video worked for me for 2 years before it got smacked by copyright infringement.
Wow. Okay, so with copyright infringement, with his music rights playing in the background, how does that affect your monetizing or you monetizing?
Well, it affects monetization today because now social media understands that trending music actually has the potential to push your content to new audiences.
Right.
So now what they do is if whatever monetization you make off of that content, part of it is split with whoever owns the rights to the music. But before, your whole video would just be muted, silenced, or possibly even deleted, and you can have some marks on your account, where your content may not perform as well for a certain period of time because you're in violation of some sort of rule within that platform. Now they're much more lenient. Now we're making sure that the artists still get paid because if you're using their music. But if you can actually create content without doing that, I would strongly suggest it.
Because you get the full
if it does
percentage of the content. Okay, right. See, I was wondering about that. I just received a thing, and me and Aaron, like I got the brand new car I ran into. So I had Aaron Staccato. Shout out to Aaron Staccato. I had Aaron Staccato make the song for me. I gave him the concept for the song. He made the song for me, but we could both share rights to the song. Now, I just got a thing that because he's got this mixtape thing going on, boom boom. He's got a contract with United Masters right now, but because it's on United Masters, I just got
you can't use it anymore.
Well, we can still use it, but now it's shareable. It's
for both of y'all.
for both of them. You know what I'm saying? As far as
That's what's up.
for its profit, it said it doesn't affect my monetization. But they just had to send me the disclaimer or something like that. So I got a text last night for something I used back in February.
Exactly. See,
I'm like, what are they doing? So be careful with that.
They will catch it.
Okay, we got people chiming in. We got people tapping in.
We got questions.
Okay, that's what's up. Nah, but they ain't got no questions.
no,
Everybody
but
just
we got
watching.
people
So we gonna get into the money game.
Welcome.
I want y'all to know about Q first before we get into talk about how to make money on each platform, y'all. They're and it just ran out. So we gonna flip these back over. Okay, this portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Urban Styles Barber Studio, located at 3107 Harrison Avenue, by appointment only. If you want to contact me, please contact me at 513-602-0591 by a text only. Please text me, and it's appointment only, but text me first. And we're going to give, since we're giving this commercial break right now, we're going to let you know the featured items this week.
I'm gonna take a snacky break.
These are the featured items. So the new logo looks good on anything, right? So if you want to just place your order, it's hoodie season, y'all. So this is the new logo right here. This is the red. I like that red right now. It's so vibrant. But the new logo, the new owl goes good on any color. And this is the classic logo. You can get your classic. You get the classic.
This has to be my favorite right here.
The classic. It has that.
They can't see it though. Hold on. There we go.
Classic feel, like the Amari, but it's look car ran into y'all. Laree. That's pronounced. So cute. Let's get back into you real quick.
Right there.
And while we're doing this, this portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Elite Cafe, located where, Q?
It's 7134 Montgomery Road, located comfortably in Silverton, a block south of Kenwood Mall.
And they can contact you on all forms of social media as well, right?
Yes, all of my platforms are Elite Cafe.
Okay, so when I first met you, it was years ago. I believe you were up on Highland.
I was.
You was on Highland when I met you.
Studio.
You, Vernon, studio owned by DB at the time.
Yes.
Shout out to DeBron.
Yes.
And shout out to Vernon Jackson as well.
Shout out to the whole team. Let me just take a moment to touch on that team.
That's what's up.
What I've morphed into now is a byproduct of that team. I've only worked in 2 other salons within my career before I opened my own space. And the first one obviously was instrumental in building up my resilience and everything. It was a really rough environment. It was supportive in its own ways.
Right.
I stayed there for about a decade. But when I got to the studio, there was community, it was intentional branding, it was nurturing empathy, and it leaned heavily towards the team aspect. And everybody on that team was good at something and fully contribute whatever their value was to the team so we could all benefit from it. There was nobody complaining about if they had to pick up the slack somewhere and somebody else probably underperformed because they performed well within what they were good at, so somebody else on the team could perform well with what they were good at. It was the first time that within this industry of like being an entrepreneur and self-employed that there was structure with meetings and communication. And just DB taking the time to make sure that he developed individual relationships with us to understand how we think and process information, so he can figure out the best way to help us and support us, so we can do well. His primary focus was, of course, he invested in the business. He has to do well. But he wanted everybody on the team to perform well. When I first joined the team, I had this raggedy flip phone. He immediately get rid of it. Don't even post any pictures and tag the studio until you upgrade your phone, because that isn't representative of what we built here.
And it's all about presentation.
And it was nurturing. Like, he made me understand why that needed to happen. And then he rewarded me when I listened to him. I mean, our relationship still works like that to this day.
Shout out to DB.
Shout out to him. Shout out to the whole studio team. Y'all are some phenomenal people. I'm so grateful to have worked alongside y'all.
So how long did you work there?
I was at the studio for, I want to say, 8 years.
Okay.
I opened up Elite Cafe in 2017 or 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for quite some time.
Right. So, okay, speaking about the studio and the team over there, okay, shout out to DB, but shout out to Vernon Jackson as well, because this is a content creator show, and Vernon Jackson has taken the content creating to another level.
He did.
So, is it more so about him being just a genuine person, or finding his niche, or the genuine smile he got? Why do you think
he's had that whole smile. Vernon is successful because he tapped into something he was passionate about, and he became a content creator and has performed really well off of it on accident. His intentions was not, I'm going to learn content so I can get this money. He's never been in love with barbering. He understood he was good enough at it to generate an income to take care of himself, and had a freedom and flexibility to enjoy his social life on his terms within whatever space that he may be in at that time. And once he realized that he could actually offer something for free that didn't have anything attached to it, it just morphed, because it had community written all over it. He just started sharing it the way he's always shared anything else. And he just accidentally tapped into an audience, and once he saw it, he was smart enough to realize that that was his new niche. He was smart enough to realize that he didn't have to go and chase clients to come sit in his barber chair. He was smart enough to realize that he didn't have to explain to existing customers why he had to go up on the cost of his prices and his cuts. He didn't have to argue with people about that anymore. So he doubled down in that lane and focused on it, because he was already passionate about that space. Vernon is a person that's really intentional about spaces, mental space. And whatever mental space he's in, he'll stay there until he has the clarity to be in another space.
You know, I first became familiar with Vernon as Elements. Doing poetry.
Dancing, right?
No, he was doing poetry. He was doing,
okay.
I think his name was Element.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when I first came home and I released my book, and I had about 5 or 6 poets, and here's one of the poets I had at my book signing, at my book release. This is like back in 2016 when I had that. You know, so fast forward to see him release his book, and
Looking Glass.
The Looking Glass. I think
excellent read.
It's part 2.
1 and 2.
Part 1 and 2, and then to see him morph into this social media superstar, because being on Jennifer Hudson, and then having the Good Morning America space and all, you know, it was just for one, it's an inspiration.
Facts.
It's an inspiration.
Facts.
And to see somebody from the same soil accomplish so much, and just being his genuine self.
And how much he loves Cincinnati.
Oh, he repped the city. You know what I'm saying? He loves the city.
He's actually in a space where he can go and live that life anywhere, but he continues to do it right here in the city.
Right here in the city, right.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, well, he's a genuine person, and so off camera we talked about a little bit about finding your space and content is being genuine about something.
Being genuine about what you can produce consistently, what you can produce without it being too difficult to do so. It just has to flow from you, and you have to be organic about it. When you're worried about, like, how can I make money off of content, you actually have to take that question. You got to draw a line through that question, because you're asking yourself the wrong question.
Okay.
Listen,
folks, listen.
If you're going to build content specifically because you're interested in building content to monetize, it's going to show in your content. It's not going to perform well. It's not going to monetize. And you're going to lose interest in whatever audience that you've already built from content that you were more passionate about. When you're building content, you want to think about what others need, what others value. Your content has to solve a problem It has to be educational.
Right.
It has to teach something. And then after you master whatever your content can be within those three things, finally it has to be consistent. You have to think about what others want before you think about what you want from the content.
Say that one more time. You got to think about.
You got to think about what others want before you think about what you want to gain. Because when you think about what others want, they'll respond so well to that you're going to get what you need. You're going to sell out. Your content's going to do well.
You said something on camera that was just so profound. You said you have to serve. You have to serve people. You have to service people.
You do
Provide a service, and so.
You have to provide a service that it has to solve a problem.
Has to solve a problem.
Or it has to be educational.
Yes.
Or
yes.
it has to teach something or be entertaining.
Right, exactly.
And it has to be all of those things organically.
Right.
It has to just come naturally from you. You don't need to read all these books and do all this studying to figure out what boxes you need to check.
Right, exactly.
Writing code and all of those things. I have never had a paid ad boost my content. My content has always performed organically very well. Even if it didn't go viral, it landed somewhere that I needed it to land, and somebody responded well to it. I get people that DM me every week about how something that I shared touched them in a way that was life-changing. It had them start having a different perspective about things. They started doing things differently. They got a boost of confidence, and that alone made them want to support my business.
Yes.
Because I gave them something that was for them without thinking about myself.
Exactly. That's live. What I'm trying to provide with this platform is I want to educate, I want to inform, I want to entertain as well. You know what I'm saying? So some of the things that you're saying that you have to have in order to be successful, I'm trying to do those things already. So I'm glad you said that, because that means I'm in line with it. So we're gonna get right into some of this content creator stuff. This conversation started at Confessions. Let's give a shout out to Confessions as well.
Big shout out to Confessions, which is the new bar and lounge and restaurant that I am currently working at. I decided to recently get back into bartending and struck up a conversation with this man at brunch, and I loaded him with so much information within a quick 90-second conversation.
I said, everybody need to hear this stuff. I can't be no gatekeeper. I want to regurgitate some information, but it was just so much. It was overwhelming. And then, so some of the things we talked about there was about how each platform it performs different, has its own algorithms. So let's talk about, we're on Facebook right now. So, and I said slow connection. Facebook. When I first got my first check on Facebook, first of all, I had put up a reel that had went viral. This was like a couple years ago. I put up a reel. It was some Tyler Perry stuff. It was like a 30-second reel. It was Zach and a stripper on there, and it was like, Zach is back, Zach is back. Boom. That post got like over 1 million views. So I got invited to monetize my page at that point. And then I was posting content, and when I'm like, I can make money off this. I started posting like crazy.
And you haven't been able to recreate it?
I got $700 that first check, and then I probably hit like 200 one time since then, but I haven't been able to recapture that magic. But just recently, because I was like, they play with the algorithm when you monetize and when you just a regular, because I was like, I was getting 100 and some likes when I was regular. I monetized the page, now I'm getting 20 likes. So it's like, how they control your algorithm when you do stuff like that as well?
They slightly control it because they want you once they give you the ability to monetize, you now have the responsibility of performing. Our responsibility as performers is to keep people on the app as long as possible to scroll so that the users can see the ads. That's why Facebook is free, because big companies invest in ads.
Okay.
So if you're in the content monetization program,
right? Exactly.
And you're posting mediocre things that aren't performing well. That's why they restricted your reach, because you're not putting in the work to keep the people on the platform. You were posting things that make people scroll on by, probably even close the app.
Right. So how important is it to separate your personal stuff on there from content?
It's actually not very important, because the content that I am going to teach you all about how to do works off of organic exposure. So people need to see that this is who you are on and off camera. People need to see, if they saw you on social media and then they happen to encounter you in public, they need to be able to see that you're still that representative. They don't need to see you switching up. They don't need to see you code switching. They need to trust that you're going to be that same person. That's why people walk up to me all the time and talk to me. They tell me they know who I am.
Oh, yeah.
And they tell me where from. You the wig lady. I saw you in these pictures. I saw you da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
People, I mean, one time somebody saw me all the way in LAX and DM'd me and was like, are you in LA?
Was it you?
Yeah. And they gave me a ride to go get my rental car because my content moved them in some way and they recognized me getting off my plane at LAX.
Right.
So
the important thing, y'all, is to look like who you are. All them filters and all that stuff, you have to look because you are your brand.
Well, filters do well with certain content. Doesn't do well with mine because people need to really see that how this looks right now, unfiltered, is how it's going to look when they take it out of the box and put it on their head. Okay. I'm more engaging in trust. They have to trust that when I make it, package it and ship it, it's going to come out ready to wear like they see it here.
Exactly.
But other content performs really well with filters when you're not worried about like gaining that type of monetary trust from people. Okay. You know, you can put a filter on entertainment. You could put a filter on comedian type of content. You could possibly even put a filter on your cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you know what we telling me to catch up, but so what we had tapped into up at Confessions was like, okay, you said it was a different method, or for each one, and you were saying for TikTok it's more of a teaching platform. So let's talk about TikTok on the teaching level.
If you don't mind, I actually would like to go in order from Facebook and then ending with TikTok.
Okay,
if you don't mind. And since we're on Facebook, I'd like to start with there first.
Okay.
So when you think about Facebook leans heavily locally, which means that your friends, your family, and the people within your town or your city, they're going to be the first ones to see and share your content.
Okay.
And because of that, you have multiple opportunities to engage this audience before you lose their attention and they unfollow you, because you have that community factor of everybody knows your name, somebody somewhere knows who you are. They can connect the dots and figure out who you are because it's so local based. And with this platform, is really good for short storytelling, updates about your business or yourself, personal updates. If you've been missing from social media for a while, pop up with an update and let people know what you've been doing, and then you can start back making your regular content again. But if you skip that update, people are going to have questions and they won't engage you anymore.
Right.
And then also, this is really good for showcasing the personality behind your brand, which is something that I do really well by being transparent and vulnerable with my storytelling. And then moving on to IG is highly aesthetic. Think of it like a visual resume. Regular lifestyle content doesn't perform well here. Everything needs to be highly aesthetic, very modern.
So this is where the filters come in on IG?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. The filters like high-end lifestyle, you know, even if you have a specific area in your home where you shoot most of your content, if that looks highly aesthetic, and that's where all your content needs to be done at. You can't, you know, sometimes you could get away with letting people know that you're getting it out the mud. Sometimes I've done that by letting them know that I'm shooting in my basement and all of that. Right. But I don't stay in that space because I know the algorithm doesn't support that. And unlike Facebook, you don't have a whole lot of time to get these people's attention. They scroll really quickly, so you have a split second to engage them before they scroll by or just unfollow you. They may like something that you did last week, but if you post some bullcrap that just doesn't land well with them the next week, they'll unfollow you and just keep scrolling. Okay. They won't think anything of it. And then moving into YouTube is like the home for very long form videos. Okay. This is where Vernon, you know, was really able to tap in at on YouTube. Because he's working with autistic individuals. Those videos have no choice but to be long form. Okay. You know, he's battling, you know, getting children to buy into the process, and otherwise something that they really would rather not do. And he's showcasing his level of patience with that in long form video. Right. And this is really great for elaborate storytelling, not like, you know, the wham bam quick, you know, storytelling that you do on Facebook. You could tell really good stories on Facebook once you've gotten good at it, you know, but in the beginning, you need to keep it surface level, and you could even break that story up into multiple parts. Okay. But you can do the whole long form on YouTube. And a really good thing about YouTube is you could post a video today, and the shelf life is so long, that video can still be working for you 5 years from now. Okay, so yep. YouTube for the long, YouTube is excellent long form teaching, educational, tutorial, and community. Okay. So, and then TikTok. And then finally TikTok. What I love about TikTok is TikTok really rewards the creativity. of a person. So that app is very creative. It leans heavily towards DIY, teach me how, that type of content really is explosive there. So,
right. So TikTok is more worldwide as well as IG.
It is, because TikTok actually, unlike IG and Facebook, TikTok shows your content to strangers first before it showcases to your followers. So it's the best platform right now to really get a broad organic reach. And
you can sell merch. I could have TikTok Shop, because I've been invited to sell my merch on TikTok Shop, and I'm going to get into that, because I'm going to try and do that as well. So they get your merchandise out there. And that's not even a paid service, is it, to do that?
No, it's not. It's not a paid service. There are a bunch of businesses that once you get 10,000 followers, you can monetize TikTok. You could get 10,000 followers overnight on TikTok. It's just really that easy to make one creative video that you didn't overly think hard about. You just was like, I like this, boom, post.
Okay.
And it'll start working in your sleep. When you wake up, you'll realize it's viral, it's blown out the park. You got all these comments to respond to. You got all these emails. You got all these inquiries.
But see, I always thought it was it's unfair. Well, it's just the way of the world. But I know a woman she could set her camera down. She could walk away from the camera, turn around, switch, boom, come back, and she can get 10,000 likes. Or 10,000, a guy don't have that advantage, to gain a followership like that, a viewership like that.
It's the way of the world, and it happened way before social media. Sex has always sold.
Right.
It's really the oldest way to make money, other than being a barber surgeon. Those are the two oldest professions. Yeah. So sex will always sell, unfortunately, and with access to social media, you have the ability to allow that to touch millions. But another thing that I would like to touch on, since you just said that, is when you start posting content and it does really well, especially when you talk about like the sexy content or the relatively flirty stuff that just attention grab, you're also going to get people in the keyboard saying however they feel, and you're also going to get some keyboard bullies from some fake pages and some private pages. You have to armor your mental for that, because it'll catch you off guard. It'll affect you. So be prepared for the keyboard bullies, y'all. They are real. Once that content skyrockets, they coming and they typing. And they don't care what they say.
So what's up with troll? Because I encountered some of that stuff, and I just, I made a post about that this week. Sometimes when you get people on there just want to say some negative stuff on them, I have never, seen a public post and just wanted to comment something negative on somebody just to be arguing with somebody. Like, why?
They're trolls. They're trolls, and they understand what they are. It's their entertainment. Sometimes they feel so passionately about something that they just use all their free time to reinforce that. When it comes to politics or voting rights or religion, or, if they're heavily embedded in religion and something sexual pops up on their social media, they're passionate about that.
They be definitely passionate.
And they're letting you know how much they despise that. And if you respond back to them, you give them fuel. So if you're going to respond back to it, you should respond back to it in a way that can gain you more exposure for your business.
Come on now. Exactly. So, I always respond. Turn the problem into profit. If it's a problem, turn it into profit.
Turn it into a way to help other people see what you have to offer. They will decide if they like it or not. Turn it into a way to solve a problem for others.
So we're going to talk about different platforms, right? So what I've been finding out on Facebook is that the more, and once I figured out this kind, once you put something on there and you engage with your people, say you might ask a question, and you got 20 people that might respond to it, but you can't just like what their response is. You have to engage with each one.
You should engage.
You should engage.
You should engage. And what Facebook just implemented a feature, I want to say this year, where if you have already been invited to one of the monetization programs, they have things to keep you on track to help you stay engaged. They'll remind you, there's a comment you might want to respond to. It'll be in your notifications. And all of the comments, you can decide how you're going to respond. Sometimes you may want to space the comments out if you want to keep your content rolling. If it goes dormant and you want to reawaken it, you'll leave a few comments unresponded to. Come back a month later and respond to them. Just to make that content re-engage. If it already performed well, it'll perform even better with new engagement.
Yeah, I've seen that. it astounds me.
mind-blowing.
You know how that works like that. So I'm waiting on my next big check. 'Cause I've been getting some nice little feedback lately. I'm waiting on my,
I heard you.
I'm waiting on something to pop for real. So, okay. So, and then with Instagram, it being more of an aesthetic type thing. So, and like you said, high end, high lifestyle type deal. So, when selling clothes or selling any product, what do you recommend as far as the background be? Like the background and the focus of the content has to be what?
I would recommend the focus to, if you have enough memory to support it, it should be 4K 60 resolution.
Okay.
It should be the highest resolution that your device that you're shooting the content with can muster, but it will take up a lot of memory. So like I said, if you have the memory, do that. If not, 30K HD, it'll get the job done until you can scale up to 4K 60. Natural light is just outdoor light.
Okay.
That's amazing light to shoot in, or studio light, which is what we're shooting in now. When you're shooting in studio light for content purposes, this is a podcast, so the room is naturally lit with other lighting. But if we were demonstrating your product, we would turn all of these lights off, and we would only use the studio light.
Okay.
It'll make it have the best quality. It'll show up the best.
It's like a spotlight almost. Okay.
It'll look its best that way. If you can't capture content outside with natural light.
Okay. And,
Sometimes, you use what you got until you get where you need to be. Turn off all these lights. Go over there, prop that phone up in the window. That's the natural light coming through the lens of the camera. You're going to get natural light. You're going to get good content. Ain't nobody going to know that you was over there standing in the window. They just going to know that content pop when they see it.
Yeah.
So don't be overwhelmed about, I got to go get all of these things. Use what you have and make sure that it's organic. Make sure it's something that you can consistently do, and make sure it's something you're passionate about. The people will find you.
Right, okay.
They will. They'll find you.
So one question that popped in my head was people, that post, you might cross post. So you might put you might use the same content for each platform. Should you do that or not?
You can do that. You can do that once you've established brand identity.
Okay.
Once your audience know who you are, they're looking forward to seeing something from you anyway. So once you put in all that hard labor to build the brand identity, now you have the ability to schedule content, and you can post it across all of the platforms. The most common connected platforms are IG and Facebook.
Right.
I definitely cross-post with all my stories.
Okay.
All my stories cross-post because all my stories are attention-grabbing. They send messages, nonverbal communication, subliminal messages, whatever space I'm in at that time, I'll put it in my story. If it's something that I want people to stay tuned to look forward to, like look forward to other updates like I did with the podcast today, I throw that in my story so that when something pops up in my feed, they're going to be looking forward to it.
Okay, so, wow, I had a question in my head, and
Let it come back.
It's going to come back.
Let it come back, because I don't think we got any questions, so your questions will do just fine.
Nah, if y'all want to tune in and pop in and say something, y'all make sure I got this.
Oh, people are watching, but there's no questions yet.
Yeah, well, let me go, hold up.
It says people are watching.
Right. Let me see, is there some questions up there? Let me see.
We got some viewers here.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Okay, there we go with questions.
Okay. Yes. The needs and wants of viewing audience are prevalent, such as good info discussed. Okay, just talking about that.
You're welcome.
So thank you, Tarika. And these are the other people that's just viewing right now. Okay, they watch you dropping Jews. Yep. Link Allow. I went to barber school
That's
with
my
Link.
guy.
Yeah, he said this good. I didn't know Link was at the studio.
He was a part of the team briefly,
up.
and his craft is sensational.
Shout out to Link because he's a great barber, and I see you've been DJing too, my brother. So
yeah.
Way to be out here diversifying
my guy
your
Link.
income. Boom, right there. Okay. Yeah.
So we got engagement, but no one has questions. So perhaps we're answering all of y'all questions.
Yeah.
That was our goal.
Yeah, so I want to know. Okay, we talk about the cross posting and stuff like that. And do they pay better when you cross post, or because each platform has its own? They don't pay better when you cross post, but your content is more favorable to get pushed out because you're utilizing the tools that they put in place. Okay.
If they say, hey, this is a new feature, try it out, and they keep reminding you and you keep ignoring it.
That's what I'm glad. Because, they make you jump through and that's why I took my page off professional mode for a while, because it was like, man, I ain't got time I'm at work. I ain't got time to be posting all the time like that. You know,
I've never supported. There are people who teach this, and there are people who have found success in this, but I am much too busy that it's unsustainable. I'm a very consistent person, so if I can't do anything consistently, I won't implement it. Posting 5 times a day is not something that I do. It's not anything that I've done to get my business and my exposure and my audience, you know, to where it is. I don't. If I see somebody 5 times a day on my timeline, I'm unfollowing them.
Right.
I'm overwhelmed.
right.
You're getting on my nerves.
Come on
like
now.
the message, I got it already. You know, give me some time to process it before you remind me of this message. So I think about myself in that space. Like, what would irritate me? If it irritates me, it's probably gonna irritate my audience too. So I'm very careful with how I overshare with my audience, even with my newsletter, my emails, once a week.
Okay.
Once a week, you know.
I always thought about that because you got to find that it's a thin line between saturating the timeline and then trying to stay relevant in people's timeline. You know what I'm saying? So like you say, 5 times a day may be a bit much. And shout out to Maria Sanchez on the go. She the one that told me how to monetize in the beginning in the first place. And I want to get you on the show one day, Maria. We need to talk and sit down about it because she told me whatever I'm doing, I need to be getting paid off for it twice. Whatever I'm getting paid, she said you get paid twice. Cut hair, record it, and get paid off the haircut twice. I was like, that makes so much more sense. And Victoria Foster, she told me about the importance from Victory Lane Boutique about the importance of posting at optimum time.
Absolutely.
You know, 6 in the morning, 11:30 to noon, where people are at lunch and they're grabbing their phones and just, so you, and 5 or 6 in the evening, just the optimum times to post for great reception.
And you should definitely follow those guidelines if you're planning to take this seriously.
Right.
Once you've already had the brand exposure built, you obviously don't have, because at some point it's going to be unsustainable. You're going to need to take a break. Content is a significant job. The stuff that I'm teaching you is to get started. But once you start doing the work, you're going to find out how time consuming it is. You're going to find out how hard it is. And you're going to try to take some shortcuts. And it ain't no elevator to the stairs. You really got to do the work. Right. It's going to take a lot of work. So once you've built up that presence, then you can afford some breaks. But until you've built that brand awareness, you cannot afford to take a break. You have to post.
Right. You have to post.
You have to post
every day.
And it needs to be quality. So don't post anything if it's not quality to you.
So okay, so just going live in the club is going live anyway, just taking up your space and putting stuff in your time.
It depends, because there are people who do that who are consumers. They don't plan on being a content creator. There are people who scroll and it's us that are making content for them to see.
Right.
And in their free time, they like, But also, if you've built a brand and that is a part of your lifestyle, your audience need to see it so they don't think you code switching and they don't think you fake, because they won't trust you.
Yeah, because, so being a content creator, and I want to know, how does it affect relationships sometimes? Because if you're constantly, unless the person that you're with is your inadvertent camera person, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're with somebody that's a content creator, you're going to have to be...
It's rough on the relationship. I'm not going to lie. The content itself isn't rough on the relationship. A relationship that is already insecure, content will make it 10 times worse.
Come on now.
If the relationship was a relationship that's just not for you, and then you're adding the content and how important it is that you do this, your partner just won't resonate with that, because it's already something that isn't clicking with that relationship. Content is just going to ignite the flames. So it definitely has a factor, has a tremendous factor, because different platforms reward different behavior. Right. So if you're taking a trip and you on the beach, the sand, everything hitting right, you done worked hard to get in the gym to get your body right so you can feel your best on your trip, and you will most likely want to post that on Instagram. It's going to do really well there. It's highly aesthetic.
Right.
It's high end. It look like, oh my God, let me live vicariously through this person that's on this trip, or even relating to people who take those types of trips. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it's very aesthetic, and you're going to want to plan it on Instagram. It's going to do its best there.
But you got to talk to that with your partner, because
they be acting crazy.
Yeah.
They be acting crazy.
If somebody knows, well, listen, I'm not just posting to be posting. There's a method to my madness. I'm trying to get some money, and the amount of views, like you say, if it's a place that looks really nice and people are trying to live vicariously through you. See, that's what people don't understand. When you creating content, You're creating. We're
An
like
experience.
It's an experience.
You're
for
you're
people.
giving your audience an experience, a glimpse into your personality, who you are, and you're delivering an experience that allows them to trust you, and then they start figuring out what you have to offer.
Right.
What
right.
do I like this person? This person always hits the mark when they post. I really like this person's content.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like the message that they put across. I like the way it makes me feel. I like how it moved me. This person has this. I'm about to figure out how to support that. And then once you deliver them a quality product because they supported you because you earned their trust,
Mm-hmm.
and then you deliver them something with quality and it was worth the investment, now you have a customer
Right,
that doesn't question anything. They trust the whole process. They're not emailing you about where's my order. They're going to wait on it to come.
Real. That's real talk. That's
You
real.
know, so that's what content does. It walks you through all of those different steps to earn someone's trust, for them to decide to spend some money with you, and then decide that the money that they spent solved the problem that they had.
Okay, so we're going to pause right there. This portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Keen Alkaline Water. This is a
this is
black.
what we're drinking?
This is a black-owned
It's
water,
delicious.
y'all, by Quincy Dennis here, y'all. So make sure y'all
Shout
tap
out to
in.
Quincy. This water is delicious.
And his wife Keisha. Shout out to both the Dennises.
Let's go, Big
Keen
Keish.
Alkaline Water. So make sure y'all tap in. Black-owned water, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in. Okay, so with having, because what I seen something that they had posted. This was years ago. I think it was an event. It might have been at the Vatican, and they posted like an event 20 years ago, and it might have been a couple phones held up. And now they posted it just recently, an event.
That was the
and
first
it was-
hip hop concert at the Vatican.
and
it
was-
went crazy.
Right. It's like
It
so.
went crazy.
How do we talk about creating content? I always say this, right? So you can either live in the universe right here or live in the metaverse. And oftentimes we live in the metaverse because we're always picking up our phone trying to create this content. Whether somebody's hurting and instead of somebody going to rush to get help, they got to get the phone out first to make sure, because if it's not filmed or captured, it didn't happen.
Unfortunately, that's wrapped up into entertainment.
Right.
That's the type of behavior that keeps people on the app until people who have a more meaningful purpose make their content and throw theirs in the mix.
Come on. Because it's some people that it's like, damn, trying to be a content creator can be you have to still be a good person too at times. You can't just rush to film the bullshit, even though sometimes the bullshit needs to be filmed. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
But it only needs to be filmed because the people who are filming the bullshit, they have a whole audience that they've built up
Right.
of bullshitters.
Right,
Those
right.
bullshitters need something to entertain them.
Yeah.
They need something to watch too. Just, there are people who are not a good fit for my business because they don't respond well to systems. I have systems in place that allows me to determine if a person is a good fit for me, so I can provide this service in the most stress-free way possible, so that I can be the best for the person I'm providing the service for. There are other people who don't require all that, and there are other people who need to go to people who don't require all that. I happily support the nonsense and the bullshit because these people need to be served too.
well, and I'm talking about on my timeline. If you watch one fight, you're gonna see 1,000 fights, and people that's rushing to
Because
film.
If you taught the algorithm that that's
Right.
what you like, that's what it's going to show you.
Right,
You got to
right.
train your algorithm. Once stuff pop up in your news feed that you don't like, you got to teach that platform that you don't prefer to see that.
Is there a way to, once you've been seeing just the same 20 people in your algorithm, is there a way to change your algorithm so you can tap in it? Is hitting the @follower button, is that work?
The best way to make sure that you're seeing the most engaging content as a consumer on your newsfeed and timeline is to only follow the people who make things that engage you. That's how you kill your content. Honestly, let's touch on that for a bit. So if you're following a whole lot of people because you know them and they know you,
Right.
but they post trash content or they're not active at all, barely active, when you post, the algorithm is going to show your stuff to those inactive people, those people that barely post, those people with mediocre content. And then once the algorithm determines that they're not engaging it, the algorithm going to think your content is trash too. So it's not going to push it out to the people who will value it. They're never going to see it. That's because you're following a bunch of people who content don't land well with you. So your content isn't even landing well with them.
Right,
You
right.
only need to follow people if you're trying to be a content creator
Okay.
or if you're using content to boost the exposure and awareness of your brand. You only need to follow people who make motivating content or content that resonates with you. And that content will find you because you're going to teach your algorithm what you like to see. So following all of those people just because you know them, you don't need to follow them if they're not doing the work that you're doing.
Yeah,
Other people are finding your content because you're doing the work. And then you block the work because you're following all these people that ain't did the work themselves. And your content is landing with them first.
You answered some of the questions I was going to ask you. I was going to say, how important is it to unfriend unsupportive Facebook,
And
or
they may not
friends
be
on your
unsupportive. They may not be very active.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So, but again, your content is going to land with them first because you follow them.
Right, for sure,
The only place where that isn't valid is TikTok.
Because TikTok, so why is TikTok so popular now? And why is the government stepping in to try and take control of it? Because I'm like, damn,
the government has its concerns because it's owned by China. China has communism. And they don't want them to secretly start influencing the United States users, which are in the millions, with communist views.
Right.
And I mean,
okay,
so
that makes sense.
That's why they're watching it. That's why they're, all of these things are going on with trying to ban TikTok or trying to limit, the exposure of TikTok to other countries who practice capitalism instead of communism. So that answers that question. But TikTok is really popular because it doesn't have all of the fluff of the aesthetic of you have to work really, really, you got to do all this stuff before you even turn the camera on and just hit play or record. You could just be in your car in your passenger seat and you could be speaking facts. And people will resonate with it and it will do well. You can be immensely creative, and that creativity isn't really supported on other platforms. You could just creativity, super organicness, like all of that is heavily supported on TikTok. And TikTok has a significant DIY audience. So if you teach them something, they're going to follow your instructions and come back and tell you how it performed. My cooking videos do really well on TikTok because I give them the recipe and teach them how to cook these things. And they be like, sis, I cooked that. And I'm about to tell you this is how it worked out for me. So.
I'm glad you said that, right? Because so because you're seeing how well your performances is with the wigs and stuff like that, did you just like I have to create more things for these people to want to follow me with, and you just turn your passion from was cooking a passion of yours as well?
Cooking became a passion really young because it was the first way that I realized that I had value. It was the first. Congratulations, this is good, I enjoyed this, I love this. Those were the first things that I heard in my life that let me know that I had value. And since I started cooking so young, probably about the time I was 10 or 11, I started getting those confident boosts, maybe even like dopamine hits of me cooking a meal, plating it and presenting it, and somebody really getting their soul nourished like that little girl did. Tell her to come here.
Right.
Baby,
right.
Or even like if I would participate at a potluck. I had my first job at 15 years old, and at 16 we had like a potluck, and I just brought a cheese ball, nothing too crazy, and everybody in every department was trying to figure out what lady with the cooking arms made the cheese ball. I was a twig.
Right.
What cooking arms? So people were like, honey, you didn't do that. Call your grandma and tell your grandma to give me the recipe. So, that let me know that I was like, okay, I have to reinforce. I have to let people know. I had to just take up space. And that was the first way I learned how to do it, with cooking. And that's why I kept it to myself so long. It was something that I did not want to share.
But having all them brothers and sisters, like you do hair and cooking for everybody?
Yeah, and earn our clothes and keep our house clean. And, sometimes they had field trips if I had some extra money. I had the pleasure of having a really good job from the time I was 15 until the time I was 19 years old, until I finished hair school. So I worked in healthcare. And I made really good money. As a dietary aide, I made $8.25. And that was impressive, back in the 98, 99, 2000. So I was able to pay bills, and if I had buy me a bus card, and if I had something left over, they can get some barrettes and hairballs. Or if a little field trip was $7 to the zoo, I could pay for that. And pack them a lunch, because I cooked really well. So, they had those small experiences, but.
So you've been doing content creating for the past, since 13, so that's 12 years now.
Yeah, and it was by accident.
And how long have you been doing like the cooking portion of it now? Because we talk off camera, and we're gonna talk about the cooking because I want you to promote the menu and talk about all this as well.
Okay.
But how long have you been incorporating the cooking portion on social media?
So I incorporated the cooking portion not with my Sunday kitchen, but people kept asking, how can we do that? And so I was like, okay, the compromise is I don't have time to cook for y'all, but I can teach y'all. Y'all cool with that? Deal. So I started doing my tutorials on how I cook this recipe so people can follow the instructions. What was that? Maybe Juneteenth been a national holiday accepted for about 3 years. So it's been I started with Juneteenth. I had made myself a Juneteenth meal, and I taught everybody how to cook it. It was a grand feast. And I just kept doing that whenever I would cook. And since I'm busy, I don't get to cook often anyway. So food content was mixed up into wigs to give people a break from me being so salesy and pushy thinking that every time I posted, I was trying to sell them a wig. It was like, I got something to offer you too. I'm about to teach you how I clean my stove. I'm about to teach you what tools I use. Right. I'm about to teach you how I cook this meal. I'm about to teach you my skincare and things like that.
So, okay, all those DIY things, okay, we profit because the engagement, and this is the platform we're using on TikTok, right? So with TikTok being a DIY, you could like you said, you could show them how to make the wig. And do you go live with it, or do you make because the one thing I love about TikTok is you can record a couple different clips, and it'll mash it up together for you, put the right music and everything behind it. It's almost like having a whole production team with you with TikTok. So I love that portion of
that
it.
TikTok studio is fire.
So is that what you recommend, or is that what you do, or because I recommend voiceovers and all that?
I'm really good with voiceovers, and that's because my upbringing was so harsh. I tell excellent stories.
Okay.
And because they be from memory of what I've experienced. I've told these stories to people before social media came out, and the way I tell them now is the exact same way because these were things I experienced. So that makes me a very powerful storyteller. I suggest whatever you can do consistently is what you do. I can consistently storytell.
Okay.
Consistently. I had a crazy experience, and then I turned into this, and now I've transitioned to so many things in my adulthood that came from what I experienced as a child. And then I've come across all these amazing people that help turn a diamond into a rough into a polished diamond. So whatever you can do consistently is what I suggest. I don't suggest you try to tell stories if you don't do good voiceovers. If you're always and smacking your lips, don't do a voiceover. Put some music behind that joint. Let people watch. Do visual storytelling like Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you could do consistently, though, that's what I suggest that you do.
And that works for all platforms. Consistency works for all platforms, y'all. And we're gonna go over some, the different stages and different platforms and different techniques in a minute. We're gonna recap some stuff in a little bit. But so let's talk about you said the
my Sunday kitchen.
Sunday kitchen.
That's what it morphed into. The Sunday kitchen just morphed into something that just came out the sky. It wasn't on my vision board. I didn't plan it. It fell into my lap, and I said, I'm going to test my audience and see how serious they are. Because I started to notice that Facebook just was like, how can I get the food? It's heavily local. I do have about 86 or 89,000 followers, but there's still a bunch of people who are local who see my content first who can come and grab a plate.
Right.
So I was like, this is feasible. I actually can do this here because this is local based. And just cross sharing with Instagram from Facebook, just seeing how it performs, seeing who's interested, and then on TikTok I can still teach people how to cook those meals. Okay. So that's what it turned into, and then I was like, okay, people really are saying I'd like to purchase that. So I got real transparent. Y'all know I cook this in my house.
Right.
I don't have a restaurant. I'm not classically trained. So one of the videos I was illustrating that before I wrote it out. Y'all, I'm not a classically trained chef. I'm just a girl who knows how to cook. I don't measure seasonings. Don't ask me about that. Trust the ancestors if you're going to cook this meal yourself. So now they like, well, I trust her. She talking about this, that, and the third. I still want that. So I wrote out a meal that I could produce very affordably for myself, where if it failed, I wouldn't take a big hit financially. It was a stuffed baked potato loaded with kale, homemade Cajun cream sauce, and you can top it with salmon, shrimp, or chicken. it did really, really well.
It sounds good. I'm hungry right
sold
now.
out. So
For real.
I was like, and there were some things that I had to learn that my audience was patient with because I was so truthful in the beginning. I'm not a classically trained chef. I don't have measurements. It's gonna taste good. So they were patient with me learning the right packaging. You know, they were just patient with understanding that it's pre-order only because I don't have a commercial kitchen. Send your payment and come pick up your meal. And they were patient with me adding delivery. You know, they not arguing with me about the delivery charge, which is $10, you know, because I was so upfront in the beginning before I rolled it out.
And you presented it, you know, on a professional level.
I did.
And you present a clean product because that you know, it's all about presentation and those things.
The presentation is always fire.
You know.
It truly is. It's something that I've been doing since I was little.
Right. That's a beautiful thing, girl. Like, you got the hustle in you, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I always tell people, like, you know, like I said, the barbers, it's always about getting your customers cross-trained, you know, man. If they getting their haircut, man, sell them some other stuff, you know, sell them insurance, you know, I always tell people, man, instead of buying Jordans every time Jordans come out, you need to buy some Jordan stock. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody don't think on an entrepreneur level, you know what I'm saying?
And they shouldn't have to. You know,
you should leave that for us.
Yeah, they shouldn't have to. This podcast is for the people who think like us, but they don't know where to start. This podcast is not for everybody to just jump in the 12 foot and figure out how to do what we do.
Yeah. We
need employees. We need corporate America. We need service workers. You know, everybody should not be an entrepreneur.
Right.
They just should not be.
It ain't for the faint of heart, or
No.
you know, so you got to be wake up every day and not know exactly what you're gonna make every day. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain, you know what I'm saying?
It's a certain delusion
Type shit.
that you know that we all have. The ones who perform at a high level that just we don't always know how we gonna make it happen, but we always trust ourselves and our abilities to make it happen. We don't know where the money gonna come from to pay all these bills. How we gonna fulfill these invoices? How we gonna get this inventory? I promise y'all, we don't always know. But when them people show up, we have a box ready to hand to them. We have the product ready to hand to them. We're ready to begin the service. You know, the lights still come on when they walk in the door and sit in the chair and they ready to get pampered. You know, but on the back end, we just was like, shit. How the fuck we go? I got so much belief in myself that I know it's going to happen, even when I don't know how it's going to happen. And that's the delusion that is required.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I think that's a common thread between. I think it's two common threads that all entrepreneurs have. It's really a faith in a higher power.
Yes.
And belief in yourself.
Yes,
you know
extreme.
To step out on faith and not know, but believe in yourself enough to know, I'm going to make this happen.
Because you can't even always explain it.
You can't explain it.
I remember when, so I have two other women that I affectionately refer to as mom. One was a foster parent, and another one was, she's one of my older cousins who had me as a baby and then had me at a later point in my childhood and raised me with all of her own she saved my life. So I refer to them as mama and mommy so that y'all can differentiate. And my mama was very upset with me when I told her that I was not going to complete nursing school, that I was going to go into cosmetology school. You know, she had this significant belief that I'm too ambitious and I needed to be home more with my son, that I wasn't going to attract a husband, and a husband's responsibility was to do all of this performing that I'm doing, and I needed to just settle down and be okay with a conservative life. And I fortunately had the insight to know that she was not a hater. She was speaking from her own fear and she projected it onto me.
Right. People often do that.
And she loves me. But just imagine if I wasn't smart enough. I would have took all of that and packaged it into something else, ruined my relationship with her, or even just overly did whatever my ambitions was just to show her that I could do it. And that isn't why she was sharing that with me. She was sharing it with me because she loved me and she thought she was trying to protect me. So sometimes you just have to be quiet.
About your dreams.
You got to be quiet. You have to be silent.
I mean, because she wasn't saying nothing wrong. She wanted you to get into a profession, you know, be a nurse.
She wanted me to have a husband.
Yeah,
I'm still unmarried, so she might have been right about that. You know, but
well, that's another show. That's another show right there.
Facts.
That's another show.
Facts. But everybody ain't your hater. That was the point of that. But when you have this burning desire in you to execute something, it don't matter what anybody say, you're going to do it. And even if you can't explain it and you try, you're going to sound real delusional.
Come on.
And that's going to frustrate you and keep you from achieving your goals. That's going to take up so much space. It's going to put you on an unnecessary detour.
She's saying some real stuff, y'all. You know, being an entrepreneur and having vision is like walking into an empty building, but seeing a fully developed studio or an office space, whatever you try to make it come to at the end, and seeing that in the beginning. They're like, bro, I'm like, man, I'm going to have a wall right here. I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to have the office right here. I'm going to put the door right here.
People standing there looking
like, what is
extreme
he?
Confusion.
But another entrepreneur be like, bro, I can see it, bro. I see exactly what you're talking about. So if I can urge anybody, man, step out on faith. You know, believe in yourself. First of all, as far as this content creator thing right here, you have to, what she said, you have to find what your, not your niche, but find what your why is. Who you doing it for? Who you doing it for?
Who you doing it for?
You got to find your audience. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent on a daily basis post. I heard a guy named Goldie. I listen to Goldie quite often. You know, Goldie, he's on YouTube, make these videos, really self-improvement about, you know, man's worth type videos. But he said consistency. Donnie from Good Company, he always said, what's the use of having a good product if don't nobody know about it? So the importance of marketing,
exposure.
Exposure.
Because there are so many companies amongst us, significant corporations, they have a significantly mediocre product, but it does really, really well because their marketing is on smash. They spend way more money on marketing than they do on refining that product. That product gonna remain mediocre, and people still gonna buy it because the marketing is always in their face. We exist and we got this. Come get this. This is why you need to have this. You know, so you can't skip the exposure.
Create a need for the product, like, but you have to serve the people because, being in this is something like that you said about dopamine being released. When you get that instant gratification, it's something like when I cut somebody's hair and they come in, they looking real scraggly. I don't know if that's a word or not. Scraggly, raggedy. It's like scraggly and raggedy. But when they come in looking like, oh man, like, bro, where you been at? You just came on, and they leave the barber chair like be a whole new person. You see they walk straighten up. You know, so they back straighten up. They confident. Their chest poke out. All off a haircut because it's about that confidence, and it's something about providing those type of services and seeing that it gives you an extra confident boost.
Exactly.
So you want that in a social media world. We can't so much let the likes all the time because the likes will give you that dopamine feeling as well. But some people will view your stuff but not like it.
Of course.
You know, and you still get paid off that content as well. Because you get paid off the views. You know what I'm saying? So don't be so caught up in the likes all the time. You know, be consistent. First, you got to find your niche, find who you create this for, find your audience, and be consistent in what you're doing. And that's all platforms.
And that's with any business.
And that's with any business. To be successful.
With
period.
any business.
You only gonna get out what you put into it. So if you want to be a real live content creator, be prepared for a journey. I was going to ask you this. How important is it to follow the hoops and loops? Like with Facebook, when they say you have to, could this be like you on level 1 and to get level 2, you have to do this and that. How important is it to complete those things?
It's important in the beginning of your journey and even in the middle because those are the things that they're going to see you complying with and determined to boost your content and expose it to more people. But honestly, you can bypass all of that stuff if you're really creating good content. It won't matter. They're going to push it anyway.
Right. Okay. Another question I want to ask before we get off subject is, should you try not to use because when you're doing content and you got people music playing in the background, and they'll mute your stuff, they'll shut your live down and stuff like that.
They will.
So is it important to watch your environment when you're going live if you want to really get money off that content? So like going live at a concert, is it because even you can put I do not own the rights to this music.
Yeah, that don't work anymore.
It don't work anymore. I was filming the Olympics while the Olympics was going on, but because I want to say NBC had the rights to it, they had muted my live filming.
Now see, so yes, you want to capture content at these events, but when you're piecing your slides together and doing your editing and whatever editing app you choose, you need to remove the volume from that, and you can do a layover of a voice layover or some other music that you chose, or you can even put text overlays so that people can read to understand what is going on. So you still need that live footage, but you don't need the background noise. So you're going to have to edit that out, which all you got to do is just drag the volume all the way down, whatever app. That's typically how you adjust volume. So still capture that live footage, and when you're editing, just make sure that you remove the volume.
So you don't necessarily have to go live. Keep recording, record the event, but put, just do it in your phone.
Do a recap.
And,
because you got, say, if you're somewhere, you could put a snippet of the live footage in your story.
Right.
So that when you post on your feed, people are looking forward to an update anyway.
You know what? And it does. It's like a double-edged sword, because you're trying to capture content. But if you're on a date, me and my wife, we're on a date, and we're at the concert, I know she'd be like, "Wait, put the goddamn phone. Why is the phone in your hand?" I'm trying to capture the whole moment. It's hard to, like I said, it's hard to live in the universe and constantly be in the metaverse. So content creators, you have to find
sacrifice that is going to be made.
Yeah.
It truly is. It truly is. There isn't anybody around me that's in my close personal space or circle that don't understand that at some point I'm going to capture some content in real time.
Okay.
But I don't allow it to overtake the moment of people that I'm spending time with.
Okay.
And I've done a good job teaching my circle that. So they give me grace for the content with knowing that I'm going to have limitations on it because I'm spending time with them. We haven't seen each other. They want to catch up organically, authentically. They not content creator people, but these are also, you also got to keep in mind the people who complain about you making content. These are the same people that enjoy seeing content on their timeline. So we need to remind them that, how do you think the content that you watch that entertains you so much is created? By people like us.
Come on.
We're creating this in real time. And also, this is a city which really doesn't quite understand that, but once you become well-traveled, you'll get a better grasp on it, because I could be in a city and somebody will pop out in my face with a camera, with a microphone, and just start asking me questions, and out of nowhere, I'm featured on a YouTube video.
Right.
Somebody will pop out the bushes in Miami while you walking down Ocean Drive and have a whole studio light recording you walking, and then they'll be, "Hey, this is how you look. This is how beautiful you look."
Right.
Just, do you want this content or not? I captured it for you. You ain't have to do the work. I did it for you.
Right.
You just walking. Bro jumped out the bushes.
Well, that's what they do.
You got to roll with it.
He's a real live content creator, and he's getting paid off the services on the
You're
spot.
also walking with your wife, and somebody jumped out the bushes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're gonna get what they're looking for.
Yeah. So it's like,
jump out the bushes on me. You try if you want to.
Bro jumped out the bushes on me. Bro jumped out the bushes.
It's crazy you said it, because it's common, because the guy asked Speed. He's taking, he came from the city. I'm talking about the Speed guy, Ask Speed guy.
The guy that says he don't like Cincinnati women anymore.
Is that what? Okay, well, he did say that. Okay, so
is that the young man?
I think that's
his experience. I ain't tripping, but I just want to make sure we talking about.
I think that's the same. Yeah, I think he did make that reference.
Now, what of him?
Well, I'm just saying. Like you made mention of people, hopping out the bushes in other cities and stuff like that, and coming with microphones.
Yeah.
I think because he's like one of the few content creators, or one of the game. What's that? He's a
streamer, ain't he?
A streamer. Okay. A streamer. So are we gonna see? I'm sure we probably gonna see more people like that, because he's got so famous off doing that. We're gonna see more young men trying to be in that more light. So I can see, if we had more malls besides Kenwood, I'm sure we probably would have some guys on every mall with a microphone, trying to get some content.
That's where it be at, wherever there's a shopping strip or a district that's going to generate a lot of people, see a full parking lot, you see content creators pop up with their equipment. They already got a script wrote, and they just pop out.
Type shit. Okay, listen, so before I ask you my final question, because I always got to ask the final question, how you want to be remembered, I want us to recap. What do you think is important for, if you're just starting out and trying to be a content creator? She's going to walk you through how you're going to get paid, or how, so we're going to talk about the finding your niche, finding your audience first.
Okay.
Finding your why.
What I would recommend when you're first getting started is to not try to master all of the platforms at once. Pick a platform that's more in alignment with something that you can be consistent with. If you like really long videos and you have a hard time editing your videos down to 1 minute and 30 seconds, take that joint to YouTube. You can keep it as long as you want to. You can go as long-winded with the storytelling as you want to. Start there. If you're really good with showcasing personalities behind your brand, like this is the person behind this brand, the energy, and the storytelling, start with Facebook. If you already have an aesthetic environment around you, start with Instagram. If you're super creative, or if you're not trying to work that hard, but you got a whole lot of wisdom up in here that people need to hear, then start with TikTok. So start where you're most comfortable at first. Get strong on that platform before you roll into mastering another platform. That's what I strongly suggest first.
You heard that, folks?
I also suggest that you use whatever you have and start with what you have, because 6 months or a year from now, you're going to be able to tell that story. And you're going to be able to tap into a whole new audience when you tell that story about your humble beginnings, about how you started and what environment you were shooting in, and how you had to use the window because you didn't have any studio light. You couldn't afford a studio light. You know, you're going to have to experience that and then package it as a product and reintroduce it to that same platform, which is going to expand your audience and your reach. So I definitely suggest that you do that, because that'll still be in the beginning stages. This is how I started, right. Type of thing. And whatever you can remain consistent in with solving a problem. I always would like to start with solving a problem. What do the community of people that I'm trying to serve, what do they need? How can I create it? How can I keep that consistent? How can I deliver that over and over and over again? That's how you're going to solve a problem. And once you figured out a way to pitch how you're solving a problem, you won't have to find the customers. The customers will find you.
You heard that, y'all? You heard that?
And that's how you monetize your content, because it has to be exposed to an audience who likes what you have to offer. And that engagement from that audience will allow your content to be monetized. So just to recap, we have Facebook for community and connection. We have Instagram for aesthetic. We have YouTube for long form videos. We have TikTok for creativity. Every platform rewards different behavior. And once you understand how the algorithm performs with its rewards, monetization becomes much easier as a byproduct of your consistency.
Wow.
That's what I have.
Yeah, that's some valuable information, y'all. Y'all hear what she's saying? This is, hey, for real. So listen, I wanna ask you, because you hit on so many different angles, you know what I'm saying? I want to commend you in your story. You want to talk about the foster system a little bit? You want to talk about the impact the foster system had on your life? I know we just briefly touched on it.
Of course, I wouldn't mind talking about it, because I have a vastly different experience from the foster care system than most foster kids, including some of my own siblings.
Okay.
I have had the privilege of being able to spot in different foster environments what my other environments was missing, and once I showed appreciation for those little things, I was able to get significant support from my foster situations. Instead of, it's messed up that I'm here, I'm separated from my siblings. I think I probably, like the delusion that I talked about with being entrepreneurial, I may have perhaps had that as a kid.
Right.
I think I brainwashed myself and reflipped my narrative and coached myself through it so much that I started to believe that was the situation instead of what it really was. I'm separated from my siblings, my mama in jail, or my mama on drugs, or I don't know when we gonna get back, and just various different things. My last foster care placement was deeply traumatic, because the day after I gave birth to my son, one of my baby brothers died, who was only 5 months. We were pregnant at the same time.
Wow.
And I already knew we were going back into foster care. And the stress of, are they going to let me keep my baby, hit me very hard.
Right.
Because it was a strong possibility that they were going to separate us, because there's this track record of my mom losing all her kids. Her oldest child might follow down the same path. So to prevent that, we just going to remove this baby and put this baby where we know there's some stability.
Right.
And there was one woman, my mama, which was the only placement that was willing to accept a child and an infant. And that's what I kept telling myself. I didn't say, my brother died, this is a da-da-da situation, I'm sad, I'm depressed. This lady is the only one that's willing to keep me and my baby together. I'm already immensely grateful for this lady before I even entered her space.
Right.
She was overly fanatic about God. I didn't let none of that bother me. Let me give you an example of the over fanaticism. So I had asked her if she had ever planned on getting central air in her house, and she said, honey, I don't need that false air. breathing down on me. I only need the air from God.
Wow.
And from a 16-year-old, that was batshit crazy. So I had to trick myself again into removing the presence of what I could have interpreted as delusion, crazy. I need to get away from here to this is the only person that was willing to accept us. I'm going to give this woman my complete gratitude. And I'm not going to be a problem for this lady whatsoever because she took both of us.
Right. Well, please tell me she got y'all a fan.
She did give me a fan.
Okay,
Actually, she was very frugal during that time. I bought my own fan.
Okay, that's what's up.
But she put me in a position to buy my own fan.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, she put me in a position
but thank
to buy my
God
own fan.
for good people stepping up.
I mean, she's absolutely amazing. So I've had foster placements and social workers that, just like the viewers here, you have all of these great things, but you just don't know where to start and how to put it in alignment. My social workers and my foster care placements saw something in me and they helped me put straighten into it. So I can build strategy and concept and execute my plans. I was emancipated at 17 years old because of these people.
Right.
Because they helped me demonstrate to independent living that they could take a chance on me and let me get my own apartment as a...
They taught you structure.
Yeah, they did. They did. So
responsibility.
I'm not one of those resentful foster children. I'm not.
Well, I'm glad you had
good experiences.
Right. That's because we need to hear stories like that because you often hear something quite the contrary. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you had people that were that edified you. That spoke life into you.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? And help cultivate you into the woman that you are today.
They did.
And I appreciate you being successful.
They were so patient.
So how does Q want to be remembered?
So, my legacy is still being built. I don't have the final answers to that.
For sure.
My legacy is still being built. I'm in a space of where I would like to figure out a way to continue my product at a high level that don't require so much my physical exertion. Right now, I'm working really, really, really hard to execute this level of my business. So I'm working to scale into a level of which that can still be provided without depleting me so much. And I think I'll have a better answer once I scale into that space.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this too, because I'm saying brainstorming. I'm thinking about the wig industry and stuff like that. Have you thought about kind of with your own wig line? Do you have your own wig line?
It's Elite Cafe.
Okay, and that's so they can tell them where they can get your wigs at.
EliteCafe.co. That's my site. That's all of my social media platforms. You'll be able to visit my whole wig collection on EliteCafe.co. I also have my Black Friday sale coming up. I normally start my Black Friday sale very early because I like to run it for about 15 days to give people enough time to shop so they can sit real cute in the living room, because that's all we're going to do is go to the living room at whoever house is cooking.
Right.
And we're going to be cute as hell. So
I know that's right.
I normally... I've already began the marketing on that, so you're going to be seeing that marketing coming out really soon. We're in October, so that's my biggest sale of the year. So if you're interested in getting any type of wig, glueless wig of quality, that will be the best time to shop.
Right. Have you thought about doing movie sets and stuff like that? That's what I wanted to ask you.
I haven't thought about that because that is so demanding that it would take me completely away.
Right.
Because it's unionized. It's a lot of traveling. I would possibly even have to move away. So, and I just would like to stay in alignment. I'm not necessarily opposed to moving away. I just want to stay in alignment with what I've built. I worked so hard to build it, and that is so unstable over there in that space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't been completely interested in it.
Well, yeah, that market's up and down right now. I mean, even right now, because that was shut down for a while with the COVID and all this and that, the whole industry.
Yeah.
And now with the government shut down, I'm not sure how that's going to affect anything right now.
I mean, the people who are in it, they're in it full time, but that was their plan. My friend Greg, one of his purposes for moving to New York is so that he can tap into the movie industry.
Right.
Yeah, he does a lot of work for Netflix, so he's not at the barbershop, seeing clients anymore, but that was his goal, to transition away from there.
Movie sense, right.
Yeah, I still would like to create my products because my products serve a need for people. People with hair loss and alopecia, people who need to look like they did everything but did very little to get out of the house. 30 seconds or less, my looks are ready.
Right.
They restore confidence. They add value to people's lives, and I'm really passionate about that space.
You just said something real powerful. What we all need to do is add value to someone else's life, y'all. Listen, y'all, this has been another episode of Let's Chop It Up and Ron C. My guest today has been Q from Welcome to Elite Cafe, located where now, Q?
We are conveniently located at 7134 Montgomery Road in Silverton, a block south of Kenwood Mall.
That's what's up, y'all. And once again, I'm going to show you the feature item for today. It is October, so that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Facts.
And I know I put a comment up today. I put a post up the other day about me thinking about leaving the Bengals. Y'all know I ain't going no damn where. Y'all know I love my Bengals, y'all. I can't go no. But we got to make some changes. I'm not. This is the most dysfunctional relationship I've been in the past 40 years. This is the most.
I have to agree with y'all.
This is like a love-hate relationship, and it's time for the ownership to change because it comes from management on down. So Zach got to go. We can't get rid of Mike Brown, but Zach got to go, and we ain't got no blocking. No matter who we get in there, it don't matter what quarterback. If we can't block for him, it don't make no sense. But with that being said, you can still look really, really nice.
He said really, really nice.
For the month of October with this look who they ran into pink hoodie for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, y'all. From extra small all the way up to a 4X, I believe. So hit me up. I can get a 5X. So hit me up, y'all. 513-602-0591. Text only, or call the barbershop, which is 513-421-1432. Once again, this has been another episode of Let's Chop It Up with Ron C. My guest today has been Q from from Welcome to Elite Cafe. Welcome to Elite Cafe. And listen, y'all, you want to make some money? Please follow, share, subscribe, all that good old stuff.
And save this so you can come back to it. If you didn't take notes, save this podcast so you can come back to it.
Right.
Some very valuable information in here. Later, y'all.
That's what's up. Peace.